Hi, Anthony here from West Coast Custom Concrete. Today's video will be in Turtle Rock in Irvine. This is a sunken living room. These were real popular in the 70s, and a lot of people are filling them in now. That silver stuff was the moisture barrier under the wood. There's a hardwood floor. There's my media assistant, Kristen. She works a lot on the jobs. But that silver stuff she was taping in is was a moisture barrier under the floating wood floor. So I just put it up on the wall to block the drywall from getting any moisture in it. So the stuff worked perfect, and I just snapped a chalk line on it. They're going to re-put a wood floor over this, so we have to go down. They gave me a sample of the floor they were going to put in, so I poured it that depth so they can put it on top, basically on the whole front room. So we're just drilling dowels in here. You always want to tie it in. I mean, concrete's a ton and a half per yard, a ton, something like that. And this is like 5.5 yards. It's not going to go anywhere, but you might as well tie it down and tie it in and put a cage in it. It's always a good idea to do that. So we put dowels in. We just tied the rebar to the dowels. If you're a guy out there doing concrete or bidding or contracting, I would bid these every time. These are so sweet. There's no demo. There's not much to go wrong. I mean, you're just gonna put some rebar in and pour it. So there's not much to go wrong in the money, and it's really good. You could do them in one day, no problem. I just didn't do it that way. I've mentioned before, people kind of trip out on it. So now I just do them in 2 days. And this fireplace in here is locked in here. So I put expansion foam around the fireplace so the concrete, when it cures, it can shrink and expand and breathe a little bit. See, that's expansion foam in there because it'll crack off those corners and sometimes it can separate and open up. Here's my beloved pump, waiting on the truck here, just setting it up. Easy pump, 5 yards. I use a 3,000 psi with 2% polar set. I've done about 20 of these sunken living rooms, and a few times I forgot to put heat or polar set in it or accelerant. And the bleed water on top, I had to pull it towards me with a bull float and get off with a shovel. It was a total pain. So with the accelerant in it, it evaporates a lot of the water, so there's no bleed water. And it was 90-degree day here today, so we probably were there about 2.5 hours, and we were gone. Here's Chuck, brought the mud. Same as usual, Charles case. So we're gonna blow this down. I'm not too worried about the slump. However he brought it, I had him put a couple gallons in it just so we can rot it easy. It's a little sticky. It's not high PSI, but it's just 3,000. And there's that moisture barrier I got under the floor and I put on the wall. I don't want any water to get into the drywall and mildew or get any mold or anything. So I just put that up and then I cut it with a razor knife when we were done. Just always remember if there's a fireplace in there, put expansion foam on there on the fireplace to let it shrink and expand. That's the height right there, right where I'm pumping. I don't know if you could see it, but we had a chalk line on it. But if you're contracting and you're bidding, these are what you want. These kind of jobs here, these are super simple, big money for the amount of work that goes in. There's no demo, not much setup, just some rebar. Just gotta be careful and not splashing the house or nothing. Finishing this up, rotting it down. We're just gonna burn it in, trowel it out, steel trowel it, burn it for that floor, get it as flat as possible. Here I am dragging the hose out. I just pull this stuff myself generally. Chuck will run over and help. Wash the pump down, and it only took about an hour and a half for the stuff to set up and go up, but it was a really hot day, and it was so hot in that house, I actually put the air conditioner on in there. No one's living in the property right now. We set it at like 65 and just cooled it off. You can see how much it evaporates the water. There's Kristen, help me out. Usually she breaks all the clamps and throws them in the truck. She's been working with me for about 7 years. She does all the media, filming, editing, sales jobs. She does estimates for me too. There's West Coast. So we're gonna bolt. You can see there's no bleed water on this from the accelerant I put in it. I put 2%. That's the most I'll let you put in it. But like I was saying, I've done it before and forgot to put it in it, and the bleed water is just crazy because there's nowhere for it to bleed to. So it's gonna go back to the top and sit. But the accelerant works beautiful indoors on top of concrete. Here's the man killing it out. So that's the main objective. If you're doing these sunken living rooms inside is to get it flat for the flooring guy coming in. Thank you very much for watching the Best in the West.